Well, hello, hello, hello. This is Happy Valley Hobbies, and these are hobbies that make me happy. This is the last live stream of the year for 2024. Uh, so I hope everyone is enjoying their holidays. And why did my task manager disappear? Let's get this back up and running. Performance, this, da 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 da. All right, that's back up and running. Don't know why it disappeared, but it disappeared. Well, I would have to say hello, Randall, for being the first one in, uh, along with uh, the thing that's missing timestamps. There we are. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what had happened, but I know StreamYard turned around and said, basically, hey, we're using cookies and all this, that, and etc. I'm like, why you ask me that? And it seems that everything reverted back to uh, oh, excuse me. Everything sort of returned to default. Why? I don't know. But well, thank you, Randall. Are you out? Are you out at work, or are you at home? Uh, Seems that every time I come across you, you're currently at work. Let's see. Let's go back to that. But yeah, that's what it seems to be that way. Still on the bar out. All right. So yeah, it's one of those things of work is still work. It's a little currently in Pratt, Kansas. Okay, and I forgot exactly where you're originally from out of, but I'm assuming when you get home, you'll give your wife and your co-host a very large hug when you get back home. But yeah, work is work. Air, Missouri. All right. Uh, it's one of those things I have to since I'm from the Northeast, when it comes to the middle of the country, I have to actually go, wait a second, where are the states? Oh, you are not married. Oh, my apologies. I thought you were. But this my wrong assumption that is when you have children is that you are married. But I completely forgot what I was aiming for. Well, of course, with the new year coming up, there's always looking back at what things were and what you hope for the future. I would have to say this year didn't go exactly as planned. Yeah, I would have to say keeping up with your immediate family is a good thing. One thing that my sister and I are trying to do, we're in the process of starting a tradition. This year was the second year in a row. I'm trying to think. There was an expression that if it's done once, if you do something once, it's a trying to think of the exact quote now. If you do it once, it's a you do it once, it's a random event. If you do it twice, it's a coincidence. And if you do it three times, then it's a tradition. And then after that, you just keep on going. So right now, it's basically what for the past 2 years during Thanksgiving is to actually travel to south of Boston, and stay it over at their place, and check out um, the local tourist traps, because well, there's a lot. Being that that old part of the country and all that, there's a lot of places uh, that there's a lot of museums. Uh, we wound up going to what is it now? It's called the Plymouth Pucket, I think it's called, and it's spelt with an I, not a Y. Which they found out that doing research, the spelling wasn't a uh, spelling was more of a suggestion at the time, not necessarily okay. This is how it's supposed to work. And the first time they were talking about the Plymouth Colony, someone had to spell it with an I, not a Y. The Y version became later, and it basically mostly the stuff was recreations, because of the original locations where everything was is uh, currently underneath newer stuff, um, with they had a recreation of what they think that what the original colony looked like. There was a grist mill that this is what they thought how the grist mill worked, which was very interesting. It was the first time I came across I think they call it a mid-shot wheel. So, normally when you think of a water wheel, most of the time they're overshot wheels where it has the trough that goes up and over them, or an undershot wheel where the water, just the bottom of the wheel is hitting the water. This was a mid-shot wheel where apparently the water came at sort of shooting out in the center of the wheel, and then made the wheel turn. My assumption is that style of wheel was used when you didn't quite have the height to go for a full overshot wheel, so it was set up that way. And we were there for the last day. The last day they were actually running the mill. They actually get grain and all that, and it's an actual functioning and working mill. I don't really make too much and all that, but it helps the museum continue on. But they do have to do the FDA. I think it's FDA. Yeah, Food and Drug Administration. Guidelines. Because they ow, my nose is itchy. They wind up using that because not only do they sell the flour, but they also make they also make breads and stuff with the flour also. Well, hello there, Caboose 173. Now, since you say CH1, I'm assuming that's channel 1. Do you have a second channel? or third, or many of them. But that's interesting. The logo on the YouTube live chat is not showing up, but it shows up on the live stream chat. Don't know. A silly glitch somewhere. But yeah, it's like right now we're just babbling on with Randall. That's in the chat about family, and also what's sort of reminiscing of what happened for the year and what I'm planning on the future. This past year, I did not realize at the job I was at, I was retraining my replacement. It was annoying. Okay. 2 channels. The other one is 173 without the channel one. Gotcha. All right. But yeah, that was brutal, and did not see that coming. Because normally, throughout my career, I was the last one hired, so I was the first one fired. This was a guy that wasn't with the company for very long. But I guess there was a slowdown, and there was I was expecting, it's like after I trained this guy, a tidal wave of stuff that we're trying to catch up and all that, and that did not happen. So my assumption is that they turned around and they decided to keep the cheaper guy and not the new guy, and not the one that's been there a while. Interesting thing, though, is that the guy is only in Vermont because of his girlfriend's going to Bennington College. And the plan is that after she graduates Bennington College, they're going back to Arizona. So they're going to have to hire somebody else again to, hopefully, do what has to be done and all that. And instead of keeping somebody that's planning on staying for a while. Not my idea. Yeah, pretty much LOL. It's like but the thing is, the 2.5 years I was there, it seems that they keep on making decisions in the short term, and their quality in the community access television. Nice. It's they're making a lot of short-term decisions, and in my opinion, their quality of their product is slowly getting worse and worse and worse. Yeah, let's see. Like Rail Crew, where they want the managers to keep hiring drivers like it's going to help them save money. Okay. Well, hello there, Jason, the train freak, and Omnisphere. Thank you for coming in. Doing a slight babbling on for the first 15 minutes. I am planning on actually hopefully by the end of the night get the locomotive re-gauged properly. Basically right now what I'm talking about is thoughts for last year, plans for next year. We're talking about family for a short time there. And traditions. Right now I don't have a Christmas tradition. Yeah, yeah, angering the drivers that's been there for years, and then yeah, because they I'm assuming they're hiring new drivers at lower pay. Yeah, it's like they might not be reliable, and I think that's one of the things that is helping me out with my current job. It's because I'm there every time I'm supposed to be there. Uh, and they have a hard time dealing with the newer people. In fact, at my last job, they had the same problem. It's like they get new people in, and they're almost right off the bat. They're calling in. Oh, da, 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 da. Why, thank you. I got it from Staples. I believe it's a gaming chair. Correct. Oh, well, that's interesting. Caboose. Yeah, I would assume that I've seen a lot of things, with the seems that a lot of videos for the Great Train Extravaganza is popping out. I forgot the name of this particular one. Is it on here? Guess not. Yeah, I bought this. I think this was a pandemic purchase. And yeah, it's one of those things I've sort of kind of wore it out. Not really too happy with the armrests. Every now and then some of the screws that wind up unloosening, and then all of a sudden it's pops out, and I have to figure out how to get it back together because you had to put everything in just right. Well, hello there, Valleys. Thank you for coming in. What was the cost of the gaming chair? I honestly don't remember. I mean, this purchase was, oh dear, I would say at least maybe 4 years ago. But I don't think it was that much. I almost want to say it was maybe around $250, I think. As I said, it's a 31st widescreen monitor. Okay. Yeah, right now I got 3 monitors. Only I used to have I was used to running this with a laptop. But then the battery decided to go, all that, and I'm probably need to get rid of that battery. So I turned around and begrudgingly bought a all-in-one system, which is what we're at now, which is a little bit faster and a lot more. It has a solid-state drive, whereas the laptop had 2 drives. It had a solid-state drive that ran the operating system, and then it had a hard drive for the actual data. Everything is on a solid-state drive. So it seems to be running a lot faster. One thing that wound up improving that I didn't realize it was going to improve is that the cameras that I use for the bench, I couldn't use my overhead shop lights, so I had to buy. So I wound up getting smaller. Let's see. Do I have one? No, I don't have one in reach, but I wound up getting LED panel lights. That didn't interfere, because if I use the overhead lights, what would happen is that you would get interference lines. And then when I got this new computer and all that, I just happened to one day just turn them on just for giggles and all that. And then also all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, there's no interference lines and all that. So now I got a lot more light now because of that. Omnisphere, what is your question? But as I was saying before, I have 3 monitors. The other 2 monitors I got for free. One I wound up this one over here, which is I got YouTube on and YouTube chat on, is a Dave. All right. If I remember your name is Dave, I'll use it. Is it fun live streaming? Well, originally, I could sort of, hashtag blame Heath. When I got laid off after the pandemic, it was about in 2020. It was February 2020 was my last day for the company I'm currently working for. Did not see that coming. And what had happened was I was helping out with new tracks modeling. Okay. I would have to say for myself, everything yeah, pretty much. Originally I was thinking of, after a while, with Heath poking and prodding, it's like, hey, why don't you start a YouTube channel? And I already had the equipment, working with new tracks modeling. I already had 3 monitors. And the interesting thing is that when I first started the YouTube channel, I actually had I already had this monitor. I traded it. It's a flat screen monitor, which I traded it in with a large screen CRT television because the guy he was interested in resurrecting old not pinball machines, but old video game machines that used the older. Oh, hello there, Mystic. Thank you for coming in. And so he wanted to resurrect these video game consoles, and he needed needed old CRTs or old televisions. I happen to have one, so he traded it for this flat screen, a Dynex. Never heard of it before. But the monitor over here, which I usually have the task manager on that. But when I was helping out with new tracks modeling, I would have the gallery view for they did everything on a Zoom meeting. So the gallery view was a Zoom meeting was here, and that one had the forgot what it was called, but it was like the main screen that was being broadcast to YouTube on this one, and I would have YouTube on that one, which originally was a but yeah, first I started out with a flat screen VGA monitor from Xerox. It's very odd because it's like it's a Xerox machine complete with speakers, and it's like, what photocopier would need stereo speakers on? But you turn it on and it would come up Xerox. So it was a truly a Xerox thing. I wound up getting that for free, mainly because it had some pixels that were missing. Not that big of a deal, but it's like, oh my god, it's like, people freak, the ones who had it before obviously didn't like having pixels maybe. And then eventually that finally gave out. Hello, Monsfield Railways. Good morning. So I replaced that with a CRT VGA monitor. Then when I started doing my own live streams, I was using that monitor for my task manager, that for YouTube, and then this for StreamYard. When I went to StreamYard, that's when I went that direction. At first, I was using using Zoom because I already knew how to use it, and that's how I started out as. But eventually, Zoom is good for. I want to say it's very good for when you're. Trying to think. When you're doing conference calls, basically, but it's not really set up for live streaming. So I tried out StreamYard, and I've been happy with it ever since. I guess the original founders of the organization, they used to have on Sunday, they used to have a community shop or something like that, which was right after Sidetrack Sunday. So I would turn around and look into that, and when they had a thing that they would have a giveaway, which eventually I found out that the giveaway was pretty much, their merch. And I wound up, the first time there, I wound up winning it. And let's see, I got a hoodie, pillow, and their mascot duck. And I would come on there, it's like wondering what other stuff is, and then it's basically, it was always the same thing. So it's like, all right, sounds like a good plan. The current monitor I have over here, a very good friend of mine said, "Hey, do you want a television?" Well, hello there, rail artists. The wife does come before us. Have you missed anything? I'm sort of just babbling on right now. And then this is train in the chat. Train Freak is basically going on what trying to figure out what to do for live streams, the how and why. That's one thing that I think the channel, for my YouTube channel stuff, has changed for when I originally started, because it was basically, well, I can't find a job, let's try this YouTube thing and make a business out of it. No sooner that I got everything all set up, I did something silly and got employed. So I didn't really concentrate on the YouTube, because very small channel. I'm still a small channel, but it was one of those things I just kept on. Ooh. Not sure which editor you're talking about, because I do not have a tattoo on me. Oh, hello there, Sparky. Thank you for coming in. I haven't really contacted Mini Prince yet, or Bernard, for winning Mini Prince. That it's like when they're starting saying, how many is like, 100, 100, what was it? 100 at 500. I forgot what it was. It was some ridiculous number that I suggested when he was saying, it's like how, should you have more winners or less winners and all that. But it was I think it was Sparky's 4-hour live stream. I guess this might wind up being a yeah, I think it's 100 at 100 at $550 a piece. I'm not sure if Bernard saw that, but he's like, but it was a good show. I don't know if I'll be on there next year because I'm, earlier. If you look on earlier on this, we did talking about what our tradition is. But yeah, I enjoyed it because, well, it's at this point in time, there's nothing for me to do. I moved to Vermont just before the pandemic hit, so when I finally settled in and started asking people, "Hey, what do you do around here?" I said, "Well, we used to do this, we used to do this." And, pandemic closed everything down. Now I'm starting to slowly get back into, I think the whole entire area is starting to do community things again. But I would have to say working second shift is now a little bit of a challenge because things are done when I'm working. But I would have to say for the future, I would have to say get equipment done. I mean, I now have the broad gauge layout done, or 90. I don't have any scenery on it, but I got it done enough that I could run equipment on it if I had equipment to run on it. So this year, yes, Christmas Day is, with no family or friend, or I would say no friends nearby. I think with the pandemic, I think I've made a lot of friends that are nowhere near me. There was forgot who it was, but there was New Jersey, California. Yeah, for when I first moved to Vermont, someone I went to a bike shop and they happened to say, it's like, if you're going north and south, yeah, pretty much Monsville. All right, Trent, Jason, thank you for coming in, and yeah, Happy New Year if I don't see you before then, which is probably a possibility because, well, I work second shift, so I won't be on. I'm not on the chats during the weekdays. But yeah, it's like the new year is, just like what I'm doing right now. It's like making equipment, for the layout. I mean, track laying is pretty much relatively easy. All you have to do is make gauges for what you're for the gauge that you're making. Uh, but making equipment, that's a bit of a challenge, because you have to not only have to make the wheels the correct size, but you also have to also modify the trucks so they're the right size. Or what I've been doing is um, right now I'm modifying a locomotive, which means you have to have larger axles, then find a way to make spacers. I wound up using. I try to use spacers, but what has? Ooh, all right. Still out in Kansas. Oh, you said that earlier. Never mind. Yeah, originally I was going to make spacers, but then I found out that I wasn't able to do them consistently, and that's why I decided to go with washers. It's a more expensive route because of trying to think the size. I think they're number 4 washers, I think. Yeah, they're number 4 washers because the lowest at Home Depot or the big box stores go down to is only down to 6. So the only place I know where I can get well, I actually eventually found another place, besides a hobby shop, to have the number 4 washers, and washers are relatively consistent. So once you figure out how many washers go in between each side of the axle, just keep on doing the same thing with all the axles. But it has been a journey. Actually, Dave, I heard about that just before coming out online. I would have to say, oddly, when checking on the phone, it's like, all right, we need to do this, that, and etc. No hobby shops in Pratt, close to Wichita. The first arc that was talking about Jimmy Carter actually had something where it was talking about President-elect Trump, what he had to say, and I'm thinking, he's president-elect. How come they don't have the current president, Joe Biden's response, which I think is a little odd, but that's just me, and maybe that's just how the thing goes, or maybe he hasn't made an announcement yet. I don't know, but it seems that it's odd that you would think it would be set up that the current president would have something to say than the president-elect. But that's just me. Yeah, I'm not surprised that the Kamala is not on there, because she wasn't elected, so she's old news. But anyway, as I said, for next year, my plan is to start making equipment. Which, now that I have a job, I can actually turn around and start buying Lebel trucks. Planning on using them for the wider gauge because they actually come in 3 pieces, and basically I can turn around and make different uh, we can actually turn around and use different bolsters. The side frames would be the same. Ooh, tiny washers. Yes, absolutely. It's very nice shooting. There's times that it's actually nice to find parts. Am I going to Springfield again? Well, since I want to say 2.5 hours away, probably. Yeah, usually I go down US 7, hit US 9, or Vermont 9, sorry. US 9's in New York. Vermont 9, which sort of goes along the bottom of Vermont. And then I think I pick up US 8, I think. But then eventually I hit I think it's I-91, I think. Yeah, I think I hit I-91, and then that goes all the way to Springfield. Yeah, I'm planning on going to Springfield. Also planning on that I do not have, because that's way I model 1876, so that's way out of my EMD wasn't even thought of yet. Actually, yeah, General Motors I don't even think was a thing then, 1876. Yeah, I don't know when GM became a thing and all that, but I know Olds, I think, wound up doing. I remember they were building cars in 1901, but not that much earlier. So maybe somebody in the chat has a JP9 or 7? Don't know. I know I do not. But all right, let's see about changing over. Let's see, let's try that. All right, let's see. Let's get the phone up and operating. All right, let's switch cameras. And we have that. Let's see. All right. Let's change over. Yeah, definitely choose news sources carefully, because that's sort of like unfortunately, a sort of a new thing. I actually remember seeing a thing on how usually news organizations were always sort of they used to be a lot of 95 miles away. Yikes. Yeah, news used to be very neutral on everything, except for when it came to communism and capitalism. It was always well, all right, Monsville, thank you for coming in, and thank you for stopping in. let's see if I can this up there where it's not falling over. But yes, stay safe and all the best for 2025. Now, this one I'm going to change the let's do it that way. Yeah, I think I pretty much had the same issue that everyone else here has here. Because nearest one I have, I want to say, is a good. Well, I don't know the exact mileage, but I do know that it's. How did this go? All right, so that goes in, it goes that way. Then we put the spacer. And then we put this in. But yeah, last week I wound up since the one hobby shop is about an hour and a half away, due west. I turned around and decided, hey, what's east, and found a couple of places in New Hampshire. One is Granite State Hobbies, which seems to be a sort of an old-fashioned plant hobbies, and nice. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Iron Planet Hobbies. Charles Road tomorrow. All right, that's that way. Let's take this one out. Now I'll take this off. One of the interesting things is that these are different styles. I believe this is an older style model. I think this is a Tyco, which is off of Mantua. As you can see, this has an extra screw in the bottom, and it doesn't say Mantua on it. It looks like it's been blanked out. So let's say we take this off. One thing with this older Mantua model, when we take this off, this actually has bearings. These brass bearings. This one does not have brass bearings. As you can see here, it's they made the casting. They filled that part in, so that winds up being just for the just it doesn't have the brass bearings. So my assumption is that these that would have a tendency to fail more than the ones that have the bearings directly in them. But as you can see here, I wound up with putting 3 washers on each side. But, all right, let's turn around and take the black one out and replace it with the red one. So it's all red. Now with these, I'm not sure if you can quite tell, but usually the insulated driver has a white insulated setup. But unfortunately, the way this locomotive is particularly designed is that the center drivers are blind, and then the rear driver on this has a rubber band on it for traction. So if I want a locomotive that has all has all flanged wheels, I got to use 3 locomotives to make one. So it's one of those things. If anyone knows of a way to have where to find wheels so I don't have to take apart locomotives. I didn't realize that at the time I didn't have enough red rimmed locomotives to do what needs to be done. Slightly out of. Let me adjust the camera just a bit. I don't want to see my bare legs. All right, there we go. And that fell, but that's not the part we need. I'll look for it later. All right. Now we'll press this on. Hopefully this is long enough. It says that this can be used with S gauge. No, actually all the way up to O. So hopefully. Old River Rossi with a new DC socket. Yeah, that's one of the things of when they redo things. Is this gonna work? Oh, gotta go this direction. Oh yes, it's gonna work. Nice. We can get everything straight. That's one of the things I think wound up hurting the original Athearn Blue boxes. You know, they're perfect for DC, but then when DCC came along, it wound up, you know, screwing up with their with their oh, I forgot exactly what it's called. That's still sideways. Why is it still sideways? And is it going in? Feels like it's going in. Yeah, the electrics are solid. The hardest thing converting over to DCC is what to do with the ooh. All right. I would have to say is basically the if I remember correctly, it's the bottom contact of the motor and getting it insulated from the frame, because you know that's how the blue box work. Let's see how that does. It's still engaged. Yes, it's still engaged. Separate the washers. All right, now that we got in the right gauge, now I need to. I have to do this off camera because it looks like it's pretty much the end of the show. I'm still trying to give Sidetrack Sunday 15 minutes so people can do what needs to be done. Who is? I still haven't figured out their new schedule. So who is it tonight? All right, that's that. That's that. Does anyone know? I should have asked this a hell of a lot sooner, but does anyone know who Sidetrack Sunday is tonight? Especially since it's the 5th Sunday, so I have no clue who it is. DB Tech was going to be the 5th one, but when things changed, I don't know where it went. Well, hello there, Dan. I'm in the process of thinking of ending the show, but needing to figure out what needs to be done. Does that has to go down a little bit deeper. I had to buy a new quarterer because the quarter I had was missing parts. Okay, that fits nicely. All right. Now I need, now I need the now I need the tends to go in. Um, all right, you two watch that. Now, who specifically is that? I don't think it's Nissi or Schuylkill Valley. I think it's one of the two people that are doing the show tonight. Now, the way this is set up, yeah, I was actually missing these. Which ones are? That seems to be the correct one for that. Let's see if this goes in. PKW Model Works. Okay. Feels loose. Let's see what the other side does. The other side feels too tight. Or is it too tight? So, all right, the one that feels loose, we'll go with that one. Then this. How do we want this? We want, I think I want left, I guess they call it left hand, left or right hand leading. We'll go that way. Thing is that now that I have this properly ordered, now I have to do with the other three. Spouse first STS. All right. Well, good night, Valleys. All right, let me switch cameras so I can bid all adieu. All right. Back to this camera. All right. Let's see, got everything a little this and that. All right. Well, so all right. So everyone, it's go to PKW Works. Well, good night, Valleys. Thank you for coming in, and thank you everyone else for coming in. It's yeah, I'm using I'm sort of using YouTube as more of a therapy thing for me now. You know, just to meet people and all that. It's probably not as good as actually meeting people in person, but it is what it is. So I really appreciate everyone actually hanging out with me. So for those who are not going to sleep, maybe I'll see you over at PK and W. So, all right. Well, as I always say, it's like, yes. What do you have to tell me, Omnisphere? It's just about to say that you might be surprised. Oh, surprise me. Yeah, probably not. Now, my streams or streams in general? Yes, I do remember that, which was sort of kind of odd because, well, I'm a small channel. Now, were they asking you for a shout out? Oh, that was you. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, it's one of those things of learning etiquette is a little hard at times. Uh, but well, it's a lesson learned, and but yeah, sometimes you don't know what etiquette is until well, you make the mistake. But yeah, it's I would have to say, you know, what is the request? Let me guess, a shout out. Uh, Also, another suggestion I have for you is if you're unblock me from my home email. I don't know if I can do that. I never had to do that before, so I don't know how to do that. Yeah, I would have to say I do not know how to do that. All right. Let's see if I got. I'm assuming I would have to do it through. Yeah, I would have to do. Okay. Well, you are showing up on the chat. All right, Randall. Have yourself a happy new year if I don't see you again. So yeah, you're welcome. I didn't, I not quite sure if what had how that unblocked or something. I don't know. So, but okay, Mystic. See you next year. All right. Well, bye everyone. I believe that the world needs more love. So find your passion, add some silliness to it, and spread it around. Bye everyone.